thinking about
Welcome to
John.
the Smite Force Chronicles. Didn't mean to talk over you. Anyway, today's episode, I think it's episode 7, season 3, episode 7, Air Supply. All right. So when you guys were last here, you dispatched the cultists that had pulled up alongside this in a bit of an air tank. It's a black cult of the dragon air tank. An interesting ship. You haven't explored it much. Really just fought some people on it. We've got Stefanos is Out on the Wing, also a good song by a band called Superchunk, but we won't have to go there. But she's out on the wing, and the rest of you have dispatched the foes back on the airship proper. Glory and Spanky sort of hanging tight. So the last thing that we talked about was the thumping at the back of the airship has ceased. The captive cultist leader that you had tied up and hung below, all you find now is a frayed rope swaying in the breeze. So that leader has our assumption is that he can't fly, and probably, had a few minutes to come with, or a few seconds to come to terms with his sort of end of his existence. So that's where it finds us. That's where it finds us, all y'all. Not much else to say. You have a new character in the midst. You have Toph, who is a reforming cultist, was looking for a way out. This was that moment. So there she is. I think at this point, she would probably flip into her normal garb so as not to send all of the wrong signals. And then I'm going to open it up for you guys for questions, comments, and there she is. Boom.
Have we established trust with Toph? I wasn't here last week.
The only trust that you've established with Toph would be that trust that comes from watching someone turn against their own, right? So she fought alongside, she dispatched, she did some damage. Whether or not she wants to be part of your party or not remains to be seen. She definitely just wanted to get out of the Black Cult Dragon. She has a tale to tell. We're not going to go too deep on that today. I really want her to tell her own tale when she's in session. But I can answer some cursory things if there's questions about it. There are a couple of things to keep in mind. You are now, you now have access to 2 different ships, neither of which you have determined on how to control. The airship below seems to be on autopilot. You are not sure about the air tank. It seems to have some different configurations than the airship, at least when it comes to the steerage. And that's where we're going to sort of, I'll leave you guys to, I'm going to open up free travel. I only ask that if you move, tell me you're going to move in advance before you move, and only move your distance. Just not that like this is for combat, but just to keep people from just like randomly like wandering around. So it is now free movement. Tyrose,
has the airship?
I say you're historically the leader, so I'm going to look to you to lead. It's all yours.
Has the airship been, or the air tank been explored?
Nope.
No, not yet.
Or was it just battle? Okay.
Just battle. I want to go down the ladder here.
Yeah, that's where I was thinking of going to as well.
Just check things out.
Okay, give me 1 second. I'm going to put on some exploratory music. Let's see, do I have any exploratory music? I have to. Ooh, here we go.
Baby elephant walk, maybe?
Oh, yeah, or the bird is the word. There we go. That sounds a little ominous, doesn't it? A little ominous. Good enough.
It works.
Yeah, it works. All right, so what's the plan? Who's all going downstairs?
I think Dinjarin and myself were going to go down.
I'll also come.
All right. I think, how about Spanky, Toph? Basically, anyone who's not actually in game will hang tight here. Does that sound good?
I was
I'd also like to go.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Stefanos, do you want to go too? Okay. All right, right, so I'm gonna pull Stefanos. I'm gonna pull you onto the actual thing. I'm gonna position you guys around the cubby just for giggles. I think that Toph would, Salem's gonna stay up top. Tempe is gonna just sort of check out the ballista. Same with Toph, just in case anything happens. Alexandria, you're also heading, right? If I'm not mistaken. And that's all of you.
I was going to suggest that maybe Toph see if he or she. Is it he or she?
Well, you haven't had the discussion, but you assume she.
Okay. She can steer the tank. I don't know if she's even tried.
All right, so Toph will start to do a little investigating. And matter of fact, she's going to call Spanky over because she's heard sort of the rumblings that he was a prisoner and wants to learn a little bit more about that. So he's going to head over. And I found a magic thing where I can move people without it actually moving. It just booms them right there. So they're going to investigate this, this device. And while you guys are sort of heading down the hatch, you hear them sort of talking amongst each other, and it seems that this is this is also on a bit of autopilot, but it doesn't seem as auto as the airship where you see no controls. They see some sort of a globe, sort of flashing right in front of the the steering wheel. They also see what looks like, I don't know, like some sort of a compartment that's sort of glowing that looks like it can accept something. There's nothing in it right now. It's just sort of like glowing, waiting. But who knows? They'll have to do a little bit more deeper dive. It's not. Toph has some cursory information. She spent some time on the ship, right? And Spanky only knows what he knows from the Harpers, right?
I would also wonder if Glory, being someone interested in the arcane, would be investigating how the arcane magic of the ships work to get a better understanding of how to leverage it.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think they would send someone needs to stay on the airship. So I think that Tempe would come back to the airship. Glory would sort of gather around with them and be investigating the same sort of like, baubles and magics, right? All right, so let me pull you into the next level. Give me 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. Here we go. Doing a little bit of readiness. All right, so let me pull your characters. Charan. Phanos and Tyrosis. Just the 4 of you, right? And this. All right. All right, so since there's no one else here, and you're all down there, I can just activate the scene. I don't actually have to mess around. Are you guys seeing that you're down?
Yep.
There's cannons.
Yeah, so much like the ballistas, you see this is an air tank. And as you look around this room, and I'm not providing decorative narrative on this, you see that there's like a bit of a common room. There's a little eating area. You see a cannon, on the north and the south walls, right? Sort of butted up against. It's a little crowded, right? But it's actually not a bad little area. Plenty of sunlight coming in from the outside. And it seems to be well enough lit. You see there's a little eatery. People are sort of in the middle of eating snacks and goodnesses. And Tyros, you find that there's a door, down that side hallway where looks like there's stuff stowed, like goods for travel. So it's pretty well outfitted for some decent, at least mid-range travel. And you're welcome to open that door and explore that room.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah. So
are
look at
these
this.
like where I'm looking at are next to the table? Are those like boxes or chests, or is that just decoration?
There's everything these days will be searchable, right?
Okay.
So this is, you can do specific search or otherwise. And David, yeah, you see there's sort of like a storage box in that room. You see 4 beds, aligned against the walls. It looks like this air tank is pretty well set up for some shift work. Probably, 4 people could sleep at a time. 2 to 4 people could probably be around. Depends on how much goods they're carrying for their travels.
Can I open up that chest?
Yeah, you want to do an investigation?
Yes.
All right. Click your search in your macros, the little magnifying glass. It's like random search. See if you find anything.
Right. Hang on 1 second here. Which one is the search? My macro's not working.
I don't have permission either.
Oh, did I? Oh, so let me reset permission. My bad. All right, so macros, figure ownership, public. Every time I update things, it makes me reset all of this crap. Figure ownership. So all players, limited. Save changes. Try again. Yeah, so you take a look, and in that chest and sort of the cursory in that room, Tyros, and you find anything other than socks and goods and just sort of the stuff that bunks are made of. Alexandria, if you would like to search the room, go ahead and click that same little bubble. Similarly, you like double down with David, like if you guys need another pair of underwear or whatever, this will probably be work out fine for you. You do find in that chest a couple of cultists outfits, right? If that's something that's interesting to you.
What level are they?
They look similarly like there's let me roll and find out. So you find 2. So right, the first one is, let me find out. First one's an acolyte, and the second one is mid-level. So just a cultist standard.
Are either of those better than what I have right now? I would think so.
They'll, the difference would be you're perceived as either entry level and know nothing, go do stuff, versus an acolyte, versus sort of mid-level, which is know enough, but probably can command acolytes. Given sort of you might be, well, you're not in a leadership role. You'd be just you've graduated, so you're like an L25. How's that? You know what I mean? So neither are going to get you into secret areas. Neither of these were leaders. These were doers.
No, but I would like one where I'm not going to get called upon to go and lick somebody's boot just for the sake of it.
Now you're in these are cult robes, so I wouldn't know
like
that
the mid-level manager cultist.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think you're going to be always told what to do in these outfits. But is that what you would like me to? Would you like to upgrade? And then also, Alexandria, would you like to take any of the robes?
Yeah, it never hurts.
All right, so
I'm fine with mine for now until I can find a leadership one.
Being an IC3, I can do it.
IC3. Give me 1 second.
Wait,
what was that, Stephanie? You were breaking up.
You hear me?
Just barely.
Yeah, I can't really hear you. Oh, hold on one second. I need to update your proper. Damn it. So, Tyros. Configure. Token flip. Add. File path. Open. All right, there we go. There's you. All right. And Tyros, you can flip your character, right?
I'm trying to find which flip token.
Oh, why isn't that showing the actual token?
I don't know. I'll go back to Tyros.
Let me pull your character back on. Hold on. See if I flip it. There we go. Okay, it's flipping now. You should be able to flip it too. I'm going to do the same thing for Alexandria. Let me pull you off for a second. Right? Alexandria, did you want a mid-level, entry level? What are you doing?
Mid-level's great.
And for your mid-level character, what kind of weapon would you like it to be holding?
Melee.
All right. Second. Da, da, da. And while this is happening, Dinjarin, what are you doing? So I can save time.
I wanted to search these two chests or boxes here and the table.
All right. Roll the search dealio 3 times. And I will not know what you're getting yet until I get Alexandria configured. Then I'll check out the chat. Let's see a good melee weapon. How about
3?
all right, melee. Here we go. You are a bully. Probably in real life too, huh? Down, Alexandria. So now when I pull you in, you should be able to flip your token. See if I flip you. Yep, there you are. You now have a disguise. All right. So it looks like, Dinjarin, it looks like you searched all of those things. And again, yeah, you're just finding general goods, food, rations, whatever else. You don't find any robes extra. And you don't know anything about what, unless of course, Tyros has shared with you that he found a robe. Milan took the mid-level. There's an acolyte robe left if you want it. If Tyros shares it with you. Similarly,
it did say of the 3. It did say I found something. It said,
oh,
you look
I'm
under
sorry.
this, inside that, leaving no stone unturned. What is this? Could it be? You find?
Oh yeah, you found ringmail. You found some ringmail armor. There you go.
Oh.
Would you like the ringmail armor, or you want to leave it sitting there?
Does it look like a
You should click. You should be able to click it.
If I were to wear it, would it look like the occultists?
No, this just looks like normal armor that they would wear under their robes.
Oh, nah, I'll leave it then.
All right.
I don't need it.
Yeah, and there's nothing special about it. It's just ringmail.
Yeah.
Stefanos, what about you? What are you doing while the others are doing this?
Can you guys hear me?
We can.
Okay.
Now we can.
I'm heading over to these boxes here and searching inside.
Right. Go ahead and hit your search. There's 3 boxes, but it's one pile, so it's one search for that.
Sorry, hit search.
Oh, it's the macro, the little macro.
Oh, the macro. Ah, dang it! My head's in the way.
Right. So you didn't find anything on the box on top. Now do another one for the bottom boxes.
Okay.
I'm sorry to say that's a double whammy no. You also found sort of general goods. You see that there's a good supply of wines and salted meats and some other provisions. So like from a food, underwear, and sock perspective, you guys are pretty well outfitted. You find nothing. You find no robes or anything.
Okay.
As you guys sort of head to the back of the ship, you're seeing, a lot more goods are sort of stowed along the edges. Another walkway that heads down.
I was gonna head down.
All right, so I'll have you head down in a second. Let's see what the others are doing first. Alexandria, you're still in the bedroom. Stefanos, you're still along the wall. If either of you were talking,
I'll
I can't
also
hear
head
you.
down.
Yep.
All right.
Me too.
All right.
Yep.
So guys, what about you, Dinjarin? Everyone heading to the next level?
Yep. As we're going down, I'm looking around and I tell everyone, I think they're hoarders. It looks like they just collect a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot more goods at the back that you guys can search, later on. It's your expectation is it's probably more goods for travel, potentially more robes, right? Who knows what's going on in that area. But let's head down to the bottom. So give me 1 second. On the plus side, the good news is you've not found any cultists. Right. Let me pull a lot of you under here, and then I'll load it up. And I don't know that I've fixed some of the bugs I had from the last game, but we'll find out. All 4 of you, right?
Yep.
Doot and activate. All right, so this looks vaguely familiar. A lot more storage goods. You see a significant cask of what seems to be ale or wine or something. So these guys do seem like they like to party. Again, you see the access hatch below. A familiar looking lever leads you to believe that this can be opened and closed. And all but Alexandria would die if you were to do this while it's while someone was on top of it. It's a well-lit area. Looks like it's largely been used for storage. You see no evidence of spiders. There's no webs, so at least that's nice. And then you have 2 doors on the west wall.
Can we open the doors?
You may.
Should we like 2 on one side and 2 on the other, just to?
I've
Yeah.
already opened.
Yeah.
I guess.
I'm a little ahead of myself.
David's in explore mode, and it has been kind of entertaining that no one's bothered to check to see if anyone was down here, but you guys have gotten lucky so far.
Oh, I guess I'm going to open up this door too.
There you go. So you guys find yourself in what looks like additional storage and the engine room. You see some sort of arcane device, probably powering the propeller, and who knows what's going on under the floorboards. Potentially pumping magics or projecting magics to the 3 arrays that you found on the top side of the ship. There's also one more room with a door that you're finding a little cubby room in the north side of the wall.
It gets the outhouse.
I'm gonna open the door, but I am readied with my sword just in case
All right.
somebody comes out.
You open it up, and you get
Oh, it stinks.
a whiff of bodily fluids. You have located the toilet, right, which is sort of down in the bowels of the ship. Ironically, no pun intended. It's not spacious. Someone just rolled something. Hold on, what was that? Alexandria.
I'm just doing my due diligence here.
Yeah. Normally, let me know. I'll give you this one though. You found a blanket.
Sorry.
So you found a blanket. And additionally, you found some wine.
It isn't soaked with urine, is it?
No, it's a lovely blanket. It's worth about 5 silver pieces. It's a blanket to keep you warm at night. Would you like the blanket?
Yeah. Bathroom
Right.
blanket. Best blanket.
Well, I mean, engine
I'm
room
curious
blanket, to be
in-
fair. You now have a blanket.
I'm curious in getting an understanding of this engine. I'm wondering if I could like get enough where I might be able to describe it to Gloria and see if she wants to come down and take a look at this.
Sure. You want to roll an Arcana check? Let me hook you up. Let's see, Jaren. Arcana. And this is just a general check, so it's not going to require a DC.
I'm on natural 20. I'm not so good with the Arcanas. Yeah,
Pretty good.
Not bad.
Yeah, that's a solid. Because you must have a -2. On
I
Arcana.
do.
Yeah. So 15 is good enough to know. Like, yeah, you don't see any obvious places to put things, keys, anything mechanical, right? It seems completely powered with some sort of magic. You don't have any idea of what the magic is. With your 15, this isn't your specialty. It doesn't feel particularly familiar, as if maybe it's more ancient, right? But yeah, you can't even even with a 15, you can't really wrap your head around like sort of what's going on here. This magic is way above your pay grade. Again, you see the way things are configured, either conduits or it's projecting or something's happening outside of eyesight, because it's a pretty tidy engine. It's just sort of self-contained. It's humming. It's glowing. Sort of doing its thing, right?
Everyone sees me just kind of taking the end of my my maul and just kind of lightly tapping on it. I think this is the engine, guys. Oh, just
yeah, you hear.
I'm not sure how it works, but it's definitely an engine.
Yeah, you hear a satisfying, tink, tink, tink every time you sort of hit it. But even with your intelligence, you know better than to do damage to this thing, right?
Yeah.
Who knows what would happen?
I wouldn't mind to investigate this crate that's in front of me as well.
All right, go ahead and roll. Yeah, just
Nothing.
again, general goods. Nothing. You out of your your side eye, you see Alexandra sort of like getting this blanket and tucking it into her backpack, and you're a little jealous. It looks really comfy. But she'll probably use it for nesting. Oh, bad pun. How about you, Stefanos? You're in the back.
Yep, I'm gonna explore all these crates in the back.
All right, so there's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5 rolls for you. Your first roll comes up, nothing but the general goods. Oh boy, you have found some robes.
Oh, perfect.
Now, what's interesting is these are sort of simple ceremonial robes. It looks like these robes are probably for the more the magic users of the cultists. And let me see how many robes you find. 2 robes.
Yeah, I liked one for me and then one for Glory.
All right. And so I'm just going to go ahead and set you up with your ability to swap. It's not going to show up in your inventory. Actually, I can pull the robes into your inventory just so you know
Oh,
that it's there. But it won't say cultist robes. It'll just say robes.
okay. And while you do that, should I do my other 3 rolls?
Yeah, go ahead and do your other 3 rolls while I set you up. Okay. What did it give you? So I'm doing 2 things at once. Nothing for that one. Go ahead and do the next. Again, we got a nothing.
Dang it.
I know, right? Yeah, so this is, again, I mean, on the plus side, you found some awesome robes, right? Let me set you up with your robe.
I gotta say, I love how the sound of the search roll sounds like one of those slot machines at Vegas. Like when you get something, it's like.
Yeah, it always
100.
sounds like it's going to be good.
Yeah, and well, it's to give you a little bit of hope. Otherwise, you wouldn't continue to play. All right, so let's see your acolyte robe. Let me find it.
Oh dang! Thomas put loops inside the D&D game.
I did. Let's see here. Trying to find a nice, appropriate one for you, Alexandria. Here we go. Oh no, that's a leader one. That wouldn't be good. All this curation it's killing me here. All right, I've got your robe. Select. Close. Update. Close. I'm going to pull you off the thing and pull you back on, and it'll give you the robe. 1 second. Stephanos. Now when you right click over yourself, let me see if it works. There you go. You now have robes. So you have robes. Let's see. Milan has robes. Just flipping. Tyros has his robes. Although for some reason I made yours white, I need to make yours red later. Dinjarin, you do not have any robes. And also Glory has a robe.
Dinjarin will not sully himself with the robes of the black cult of the dragon.
Oh. Not even for the goodness?
Dinjarin's really committing hard to this good bit.
I've had such a change of heart. I cannot bear to wear the robes of an evil cult.
Well, you know, you do you.
Man, you used to be cool.
That's what all the kids say. I feel.
And I need to roll for, hold on, I need to roll for Glory. What level? Right. And where is she? There she is. Nope, that one's topless. That would not be good. Here we go. All right, so now Glory has her outfit ready for her when she's good to go. Update token, and she's upstairs. So we'll do we'll assume that you do this when you get back up. You guys have that conversation. Okay, so you guys are down here. What's up?
I want to open up the grate.
Okay.
And just see if I could kind of like peer down and see if I could guesstimate how far we've traveled since the last time we looked out over the edge, and just get an understanding of Has the scenery down below changed? Or like how far are we away from wherever these ships are going?
Sure.
Which,
Go ahead. And
from what Spanky said, was I forgot what the name of the city was, but he told us the city.
Daggerfall. He said you guys.
Daggerfall,
He
yeah.
thinks you're heading to Daggerfall. So go ahead and double click. Yeah, so you see that, while you guys have been searching the ship, this terrain has changed. It looks like you're over desert, badlands, something beyond the mountains. So you've headed into some sort of desolation, right? And your familiarity with Faerun, it does look like this is probably the Badlands, or at least the beginnings of the Badlands. It's a pretty big expanse of desert and desolate. And desolation.
I ask everybody here, like, anyone really familiar with the Badlands? I think that's what we're over.
Not a clue.
Anybody have a bungee cord? You could do some bungee jumping out of this. It'd be kind of fun. No?
What's a bungee cord? I've
Oh,
got
it's
hemp rope.
It's this new rope that stretches and then jumps back into the place. Lay down. Not you, Tyrus. You don't need to lay down. I was.
Are we able to did we already estimate how high we are in the sky?
Yeah, you did. You're probably 6,000 to 7,000 feet up.
Okay.
And you're moving on a pretty good click, looking at the desert below you, or the Badlands below you, sort of flying by.
All right, I walk back over and close it.
All right, go for it. All right, so hatch shuts. You guys all feel a little bit more at ease, right? Having that big gaping hole in the bottom that would drop you to the desert, that would be actually one step worse than being dropped into the mountains, where at least if you survive the fall, you'd be okay. What would you do in the desert? Who can say?
Should we go back up top and tell everyone, see if they figured out how to control the ships, and tell everyone, like, hey, there's no one else here?
Is there anyone with a higher arcana up there who can try to figure out what's up with this engine?
I roll the Arcana check and check the engine.
Okay, give me two shakes.
Yeah.
I just need one moment. Pull back this person. There. All right, so you're going to go and check the engine out. Did you already move over there?
Yep, I'm gonna.
All right, then while you're doing that, I'll get you ready for your Arcana check. Boom, 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 boom. And what are you trying to understand beyond what Dinjarin's already told you?
Essentially how to work. If there's any trick to working it.
Okay. Let me add a DC then. So you should, in the middle of the screen, should be a little pop-up.
Right. I have it already calculates my situational bonus.
You should, yeah.
Okay.
If not, we'll add it after the fact, but it should. Oh!
Boom.
Damn.
Got him.
All right, Stefanos, you agree with Dinjarin's assessment, but the other thing that's sort of in the back of your mind is, you have this cursory understanding of some devices that you found in the aquatic crypt that are Arcanic Wayfinder, right? And you fundamentally know that you don't exactly know what it's for, but it seems to be some sort of like a Arcanic GPS. It's a wayfinder, right? It's to get you from point A to point B. You're starting to sort of tie some threads together. You don't know anything for sure, even with that roll, but you're wondering if there's not some connection between this air tank, the fact that it was sent to intercept the airship, the fact that you know that Brother Samael, was down there looking for some things, and you guys found some things, right, on his people. You're starting to sort of pull all this together, and you're wondering if this ship may not be some sort of prototype, right, that has something to do with that Wayfinder. How's that for a 25?
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, look,
Do you
I think
remember who had all the parts on our team? I don't remember like the parts we found of it.
I
Who
have
has it?
some.
I think you have some. I think
I-
maybe Alexandria might have one. I'm not sure.
I have a part
Yeah.
1 and a part 8, as well as a
You just
map.
see the
Yeah.
cool
Drawing.
wayfinding stuff.
And then and Stephanos, I'll also add that you didn't get this vibe from, you haven't done anything specific on the airship, but it seemed more like sort of a bulk transport. This little guy seems to have a little bit more intent
Sorry, a little bit more what?
intent behind it, right? Like
Interesting.
this, yeah, it feels like if you were to steal one of these two ships, Stephanos, this is probably the one you'd go with. Even the other one has like many floors and blah blah blah. It seems more like a freighter,
Right.
right? This seems more specific.
Would you say one was more for exploring, boldly going and exploring, and one was more for traveling deep into taking long voyages?
One might say that if you were to experience any temporal anomalies, this would be the one you'd want to be in. I'm sorry, that's my pet peeve with Star Trek, as you know, is temporal anomalies.
That's where you draw the line.
I can suspend a lot of disbelief, but the amount of time travel, and which would clearly, I would assume, would fundamentally go against everything that Starfleet stands for, right? Because they aren't supposed to interfere with planets, but they're going to interfere with a timeline. I don't know. That was always a stretch for me. I can even suspend disbelief around like their transporters, which was like it was an easy way to avoid ships going to and from planets for the original TV show. That's why it exists. They didn't want to have to film ships going to and from a planet. It's too expensive. Anyway, fun facts. So here we are. Yeah, I think while he's letting a dog out, I need to take a pull, so I might as well click this button. My coffee. There we are. So Stephanos, yeah, you've just sort of connected a bunch of dots, right? It's pretty exciting stuff.
Right. I, team down on this deck. Let's pull all our wayfinding stuff, put it together. Because it's in relation to the stuff that we found in that cave.
So question for you guys, which parts have you found?
Okay, I have 3 parts.
Okay.
Or 2 parts and a drawing, actually, is what I have. I have a case, which is part 1, and a gem ring, which is part 8.
And I have a casing, which is part 2.
Okay. Give me 1 second.
I don't have parts.
I think, did Glory have a part too? Or
You may have. I think you're right.
Sounds like Glory.
So what did you have? You had what, Tanjara?
I had the casing. It says
The casing.
part 2 casing.
All right, give me 1 second. Just want to make sure that I have this mapped properly. Casing, that looks like... yes, casing. And what did you have, Tempe? I'm sorry, Tyrese, anything?
I did. I had a case, which is part 1,
Okay.
and then I had a gem ring, which is part 8.
Perfect. So you have, I think you guys have 3 parts so far, right?
Yeah, and then I do have an Arcana Wayfinder drawing, but it's mostly outlines flan, and there's some scribbling and some things crossed out, but it's not really a map or anything.
All right, so let me pull you guys. So you guys said you wanted to look at the Wayfinder, correct?
Yes.
All right.
Speaking of which, looking at our quest details, did we finish the aquatic crypt and escape the aquatic crypt and explore the aquatic crypt?
You did. I need to update your quest. Good call. Activate. So as you guys, as you can see,
Ooh, what
then,
is that?
Tyros, before you guys click anything, just let me talk. So before you, because I know how you roll. So Tyros, you have access to the case, which you see sitting on the table. You see him sort of place it on, this table. So ta-da for that. And then, you guys lay out on sort of to the right of it, like some of the parts, right? It's like the parts that you've already collected. And I believe you should be able to click on them. So one of you, do you see if you can click on it.
Nope.
So Tyros starts clicking buttons on the box itself, and nothing's happening. But on the right hand side of the table, you guys don't have access to that.
No, I
No.
can see the things, but I can't click on them.
Okay,
Yeah, can't
so-
interact.
Okay, give me 2 seconds, and I'll see if I can remedy that. You should be able to. Oh, hold on. And this one. When I said click, what I should have told you is to make it a little bit less accidental. It's double click. So you guys grab that gem ring and you place it into the box, and you see it snaps nicely right into that box. And you push the button, and still nothing. You must not have all the parts yet. So you have one more piece if you want to add it. Right, so now you have the casing. So you guys are realizing that this stuff is sort of snapping into place. It's still incomplete. You can feel free to push the buttons. Yeah, you'll see what happens. Not a whole lot. So it's not ready for prime time, right? And you recall that Spanky was suggesting that part of what you need to do is to sort of learn more about this. You've only had a cursory chat with him, so you're just sort of randomly experimenting right now. And Tyros, you're connecting all the conversations, and this is probably the main reason you were heading to Daggerford.
You guys think Toph knows anything about this?
Ooh, potentially. But should we ask Spanky, bring it to Spanky to see if he can help us out?
Yeah. Not knowing Toph so well, I would rather we have more history with Spanky. Yeah, I think I would share this with Spanky first, and then see if we can maybe over drinks get Toph to spill any beans on this until we kind of get to know her a little bit better.
Awesome. Did you guys want to head up to the main level, or are you guys going to stay downstairs and share? All right.
Yeah.
Go back
Yeah,
up
I think-
to the main level.
All right.
Ready to head
Heading
up.
back. And you guys can look at that Wayfinder whenever you want. You can always pull it up.
How do we do that?
Tell me you want to do it, and I'll pull it up. I'll have you pull it up.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You should also. I don't know. You haven't found a map of Farron yet. So once you get access, once you either purchase or find a map of Farron, you'll also be able to pull that up whenever. So, so as you come back up, Stefanos, this is another piece of your of the puzzle, right? You guys are back up and you're seeing, and what draws your attention is this right here. Is that square box, that empty, that sort of waiting for something to be accepted, right? So connecting what you saw downstairs with the fact that you guys have started assembling this Wayfinder, you're pretty convinced at some point you're going to put that thing in that slot.
Right.
And now it's starting to make sense, right? You have your steerage, you have your magics, you have this slot, right? And that's what I'm going to give you in this moment. I'm happy to share more, but you guys are going to have to ask pointed questions. I think that's what I'll give you for the rest of your 25.
Yeah, I guess I'd like to ask Spanky if he's familiar with the setup of this wayfinding device to steer the ship.
Ah, the Wayfinder. You're already looped into that, are you? That was why I was trying to intercept you. I don't know a lot about the Wayfinder, but I can tell you that the Harpers are hell bent on securing what they can from this Wayfinder before the Black Cult of the Dragon can. I don't know the details, but that's going to happen if we ever get to Daggerford. That was my quest. My quest was to get you from Flan to Daggerford.
You know
Any
how
means
many?
necessary?
Spanky, do you know where the Harpers are looking for the Wayfinders? Parts?
Not specifically. They don't share that level of information. I'm more of a gopher, right? You go for these guys and take them here. Go for those things and take it there. But I will tell you that this is a big deal. You're not the only party looking for this stuff.
Do you know what would happen if this does get into the wrong hands?
End of times.
Yikes.
These cultists, and honestly, might want to ask my friend this, but these cultists are no good. They will be happy when chaos is sown throughout Faerun and probably beyond. Their intention is not the betterment of society. Their intention, I think, is the replacement of all we know.
With a replacement with what? Like a classless, stateless, like kind of commune, or?
I don't have any of those details.
Okay. Well, I think we should maybe hold out judgment on these. Everyone's so quick to, dismiss people with new and radical ideas, and I think these cultists, we should maybe hear out their ideas a little more.
I, Toph, made that mistake at one point, thinking there might be some good behind these cultists. Or formerly my cohorts, and what I have found is that there's not much good to be found there. So, I know I won't pretend to tell you what to think.
Hey, Spanky, how long have you even known about this? Did you know about this when you first met us at the docks in Flan, or is this something that you discovered partway through as we were doing some of our other endeavors?
Well, I know little now, but I knew less then. Then I was to meet a party of adventurers at some docks and deliver them to Madame Friona's tea kettle, where they would prove that they were the right party for whatever endeavor or otherwise. At that point, I really had very little skin in the game. I do recall the comedy of you fighting rats on those docks. At what time? at that time, the formidable, what you thought was a formidable opponent has turned out to be what today you would just step on and kill with one step.
The good old days.
I do miss me, Madame Friona's scones.
Dinjarin keeps looking back and forth because for some reason he sees two Alexandrias. He's like rubbing his eyes, going, "What? What? Do you guys see that?
Oh, yep.
Which one is a fake?"
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
I think one was meant to be Glory.
Yes, one was meant to be Glory. But it turned into Alexandria. Alexandria's over there now. Let me put Glory back on. They're right next to each other in the dragon drop. Glory tries on her
have
new
you found
her new digs and approves.
Toph, have you figured out if this is steerable or is this controlled by some arcana leading us?
You know, I believe it's marginally steerable. This was not my job. My job was largely to ensure our goods were tied down. That that we were all well fed. I'm not an acolyte. I've made my way up, but the leaders didn't share the specific details, right? I was more of the number 2, number 3, and steerage was sort of not my jam. I will say that it seems that we're in autopilot at this point. So wherever they were heading, they were heading. And I don't know specifically where that was, but I do know the intent was to track down Samael and further that cause.
Should we call Tempe over, guys? And then also, well, I guess my question to the group is, are we keeping both ships? Just this ship, which seems a little bit more maneuverable and obviously has something to do with the Wayfinder, or just the large ship?
Didn't we need to go back to the large ship to check the scroll room or something for more bits?
Oh, that's a
Yeah.
could be maps.
Yeah, I thought I wasn't sure if we did a full search of the large ship, if there's anything else left there. Otherwise, I personally I think the small air tank is a better equipped ship to be on.
Yeah, and Stefanos, you feel the same.
Yep.
Do you guys want to go check it then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can go with him. Check it.
All right, and where are you heading?
Heading to the big ship and the map room. I collided with something.
Yeah, you can't. You need to go off the ship. I have to pull you over the edge.
Oh, okay.
While they're doing that, I'm gonna go back down to the cannons. You don't have to actually drag me there, but I'll just do theater of the mind. I'm just gonna investigate the cannons and maybe get one eventually ready.
All right. Do you first off, were you guys going to the captain's room or the map room? Those are different rooms.
Both. I think searching all of the rooms where the high priests were.
Okay. Be 2 shakes.
Can we split up, David?
You can.
No, David.
Oh, I'm not able to get onto the big ship.
Yeah, I'll get you guys on the big ship in just 2 seconds.
Oh, okay.
But you guys are now splitting the party significantly, so I want to make sure that that we're good to go. All right. So first, who's going to the captain's room? That's the first. Whoever's first up.
I can head to the captain's room.
Sure.
All right. So we're gonna see this one through first. So Stefanos, I'll pull you here. Actually, I'm gonna activate for everyone. You guys all might have black screens. So just deal, just easier. All right, Stefanos, you're in the captain's room.
Yeah, I want to run an Arcana check to find any magical pieces here.
Any magical pieces? All right. Let's see if there's anything magic. All right. Chat. And here we go. And DC 12 again. Show DC. Start epic roll. Oh, I have to choose it. Yes. And a 17. So yeah, so you're looking around, and let me see. I gotta look at my table and see what you find. One moment. Yeah, so you find this sort of, it looks a bit like a gem, sort of pulsing.
Great. I will take that.
All right, give me one moment. I'll grab this for you and put it into your inventory.
Did anybody here already check the pockets of the guy that we hung from the back of the ship?
I don't think we did, but I think he already fell off and
Oh,
fell
he's
to
dead?
his demise. Yeah, I think the rope broke.
All right. Boom. And let me pull this into your inventory, Stefanos. So you now have something called an arcane wayfinding gem.
Oh, exactly what I was looking for.
Ooh.
Yeah, you're lucky you found it. So it was in the captain's. So it was in the captain's desk, under some papers, sort of like half-ass hidden, out of eyesight. What it does, you're not completely sure, but you are convinced it has something to do with the Wayfinder.
Great. I'll probably take this back up to the crew.
All right, so you're gonna head back up.
Yep.
Oh, if you want to do a general search for the room, you're welcome to do that as well.
Oh, yeah. Actually, no. Yeah, I'll do a general search in the room as well.
Do
Oh, not
three.
random search. Three.
Yeah, 3 of them.
One.
So right, in the bathroom, you find some soap.
Okay.
Unsurprising. You do realize that if you were to choose a ship based on bathroom, this is a much nicer bathroom.
And then do my second roll.
Yep, go do your second one. Look at that!
Right.
You found an herbalism kit. Would you like the herbalism kit?
Oh, yes, definitely want the herbalism kit.
Look at you! You're on fire with the search and stuff. And your third roll. But your third roll does come up a bit empty. I think you made out okay.
Yeah. I'll take what I got and go back up to the crew.
All right. Heading to the main level. All right, so who else was next?
That would have been me heading into the map room.
The map room. So let me pull you into the map room. And then I will do Dinjarin after you. That would be cabins. Activate. And they pull you in. Probably are seeing nothing right now. And Tyros. Boom, you're in the map room.
Boom.
And you remember Dinjarin mentioning he'd been in here. Different floor plan. That was a bit of a kerfuffle, if you remember. But he didn't have time to search it. So what are you looking for?
I am looking for anything that may be related to the Arcana Wayfinder, first off. And as well, any maps of the town that we're heading to or the area that we're heading to get an understanding of the lay of the land.
So first, do an investigation check for specifics.
Let me pull up my character here.
Oh, let me.
Alright,
I can have you roll the investigation. My bad. Hold on.
Oh, I've got it here.
I'm already in the middle of it, so just let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it fancy.
Sure.
And I have in my brain a number you can hit to get extra goodness, but we'll see what you find in general.
Okay.
All right, so you got a 24. So you find you're not sure how specific it is, but you know that it's useful. You find two things. You find a detailed map of Farron, and
Excellent.
you find a book called Out and About Farron, which seems to be a traveler's guide to Farron. So let me pull those into your inventory. Ironically, we were just talking about these two things, so that's funny. Or we were talking about the map at least. So you now have that detailed view of Farron. And you also have Out and About Farron. And if you open up the Out and About, you'll see that it is not just an empty promise. There is some good potty reading. If you were to head into the bathroom, this will take you a good, 15 minutes to read through. There's a lot of details there. The map of Farron gives you, and only you at this point, right of viewing the map of Farron whenever you see fit. In your view, you have it's a artist representation of Farron, so you can sort of see it, but it's not going to be useful for you in this game, right? Like just with this interface, you can't really zoom in or whatever else. However, would you like to take a look at it real quick?
Yeah, just to get a quick idea.
Okay, let me pull you in. Are you willing to share this with everyone, this view?
Oh, of course. Yep.
All right. Making sure. And save changes and activate.
Oh, wow.
Yep. And let me make sure it's
that's
light.
Huge.
It is very big. And let's do. There we go. Save changes. Right. So so you see this is Farron.
Wow.
Right? And you're doing some mental math, and you realize that Flan we'll drop some stuff on here for you. Map tools. You see that, you know that you started here in Flan. See the little green X I put down?
Yeah.
On the map. You know that you've seen fields. You know that you've seen mountains. Right? And you know that you've seen at least the beginnings of the Badlands. So given the Badlands over here where scroll west.
Yep. No, I see it.
This leads you to believe that your air tank is probably somewhere right here. Are you seeing it?
Yep.
Are you all seeing it?
Is everyone else able to see this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so here's, so your flight path right now has been sort of here.
Very straight west. Yeah.
And you're assuming that you're going to head somewhere in this direction. And if you look, you've heard of Daggerfall, right? You've heard rumors of Daggerfall. And you know on this map that Daggerfall is right here. If you scroll left,
there. Okay.
all the way over to the Sword Coast, right? And you know your history, so that to the north of Daggerford is Neverwinter, and all sorts of interesting things are up there. But there's a whole lot between you and that now. If you were to do some math, your drag ruler, now that you have a map, it looks like you've got a good 2 to 3 days of travel ahead of you. And I need to change this from feet 2 miles. That's my bad. I have to work on that. I have to reconfigure it. But you've got a bit of a journey ahead of you.
Out of curiosity, can you mark on the map when we appeared on the first airship, like how far away from Flan we were?
That's where I dropped that first blue X is probably about where
That first one. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you did start, and the reason that I started you in the water is because remember in Flan, you were on an island just to the south of Flan. Right? You went through the Jade Emperor's areas, all of that good stuff. Right? Now
Does anyone else have the Game of Thrones theme music going through their head looking at this?
Oh, dun, 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 dun. I never actually watched Game of Thrones. Someday.
What?
I know that's what everybody says. I watched the first couple of episodes. It got to a point where there was like violence against a child, and I wasn't mentally ready for whatever that was going to mean. Right? So I'm like, I'm going to tap out for now. I'm going to guess that child was a horrible person or who knows what, and probably came back to life, but I don't know. But in that moment, I was like, oh, you know what? I wanted an escape, and that was just not where my head was when I watched it. I also wanted to read the books. All right, so you're looking at the map. Tell me when you're done with the map. Oh, also, let me see if you guys should be able to, on your own, if I do this right, you should be able to access the map whenever you want. So let me see if I can make that happen. Configure permissions. All players. Observer. Save. Now, I think you should be able to get to this map whenever you want to.
Would that be if I click on it, everyone sees it, or I just see it?
Just you.
Where do we go to look at the map?
Look in your upper left-hand corner. Do you see Map Farron?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to pull you back to the other scene and see if that stays up there. This is new territory for us.
It says Braving the Sky, Maine.
Right. Is there also Farron up there?
No.
No.
Okay, hold on. What about in the right-hand side? Do you have any? Do you have a little fold-out looking map thing over there?
I do not see one anywhere.
Like chat, chat, and then there's the combat little icon, and then the next one over is that a little person or is it like a fold-out map thing?
So I have
actors, items.
Okay, give me 1 second. Now, can you see it up in the upper left-hand, in the top of your upper left-hand part of your screen?
Yes, I do now.
Right.
There we go.
See how you're on a different scene than I'm at?
Nice.
Shooty scores. So now you have a map you guys can pull out.
Very cool.
Now, and Tyros, if anyone pisses you off and you decide that you don't want them to be able to do this, let me know and I can remove their permissions. But the assumption is that the way I'm looking at this is like they're welcome to go to your backpack and like you have it sort of accessible whenever they want to look.
I've got it accessible. Yep. But only my team knows where it is, so that it can't be pulled from me by unwilling parties.
All right, and I will also allow. Hold on 1 second. I will also add that Arcanic Wayfinder as something that you have access to, as well as for scheming. For scheming, I will give you access to one other thing. Configure permissions, observer, save. This is where you guys are welcome to pull out your notebook and doodle. So let me toggle this navigation. So you have some like a little notebook of graph paper.
Oh.
And you also already have this, so I'll give you this permission since we know how to do this now. Server and toggle there. So you guys have a map of Flan, a map of Farron, graph paper, and your Wayfinder. So those are things that you can access, hopefully at the top of that thing whenever you want. Productive, huh?
Sweet.
I'm gonna guess that every time I make any changes, it's probably gonna make me do this again. But just remind me that like you should have access to all that stuff up there.
Cool.
And after this, once you guys decide if you're gonna take either of these ships, then I'll create a similar thing that you guys can go access any level of the ship whenever you want.
Good. I guess. Are you guys done over on the big ship now?
Well, you should be able to click back to that yourself too, right?
So should we bring Tempe to the small ship? Should we tell him like, hey, come over here?
Yeah. So Tempe's good. He heads over. I hope he heads over. Oh, I'm measuring.
Was that everything that was in the map room?
Oh, let me go back to you. Hold on. My bad. Almost forgot. I got so excited about doing that. All right, so that was your specifics, right? That was your 2 things. Now you can go ahead and you found nothing other than that. Do a general. Let's see. Got 1, 2, 3 general rolls.
Sure.
Ooh, you found a signet ring.
Ooh.
Yep. And one more.
One more?
Yep. Alas. So yeah, I added the signet ring to your inventory. It's probably nothing specific. Probably just like one of them's probably a in a fraternity or something, and it's the ring they sort of left sitting there. But you can noodle on it later on, sell it, keep it, decide what you want to do about it. So I'm gonna pull us back to the main level. Go ahead.
Is it kill Kappa Kappa?
It's BCODU. So here's an interesting thing that happens. So you guys are heading over, and Tyros, you head back to the air tank, and Stefanos, you step onto the wing. And as you do, and you're making your way across the wing, you notice that the airship starts to pivot away.
No.
Ooh.
And starts to disappear.
Darn it. That's why I wanted to load the cannons and blow it up. I was gonna fire it at the airship.
So taking that gem off that ship seems to have reset it.
Oh.
And it's heading back, right? Well, you assume it's heading back. It looks like it's heading back to where you guys came from. And now you're just left right now in the air tank, right? And you're holding the gem in your hand. What are you going to do with it?
I am going to. Can we pull out the wayfinding device and see if there's any place for this gem?
Sure, I think you can access that whenever you want now.
Oh. Access that. Oh, there it is. No.
Yep. So you take a look, and it does look like there's a slot for a gem right in the middle. But this is this is an incomplete device. So it's not like, so you pull, it doesn't like snap in. You can set it there. It doesn't really do anything quite yet, but you think that someday that might be a thing.
Yeah, so we need to find some more pieces first.
Yeah, I think that's part of the plan.
Yep.
Why don't you do me a favor, Stefanos, and roll a quick Arcana check.
Great.
I do love how this magical item is held together with Phillips head screws.
Thank you. It was my attention to detail that you appreciate, I hope. This is one of the few images that I actually had like edited into a thing. All right, so yeah, your nine's not very good, so I'm gonna have you roll now an investigation check. And let me know if you want me to do it. I can just do it. There you go. Good. 11's good enough. You don't recall seeing any sort of similar mechanisms. I'm going to take you back. Let's go back to the main level. Heading back to it. You don't recall seeing any sort of similar contraptions on the airship to this one. right? Yet that airship seems to have been controlled with that gem in some way, shape, or form. So you don't know if it's a juxtaposition or if there's something you could do here with the gem to leverage it. You also don't know what the gem's for. You do know that it has something to do with navigation.
Maybe you could fit the gem in one of the these glowy areas. Like, what is it? The same shape as the blue glowy area near the steering wheel?
Let me look at this thing a little closer. How can I show everyone the gem?
Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. Oops. Give me 1 second, and I'll show it to him.
Okay.
Just talk amongst yourselves. Why don't you guys scheme on what you want to do while I get this going?
I don't know about the rest of you, but it's getting late, and I'm down spell slots and stuff. So I do think at some point in time, before another ship comes or something else attacks us, we should out doing a long rest.
Oh yeah, for sure. Useful too.
Yeah, especially since there's no one else on the ship right now. So I think we would be pretty good.
Again, this is taking me a longer than I thought. Just keep talking amongst yourselves. Pretend like I'm really on top of everything.
And do you think we should try to put the arcane wayfinder case in the other part, even though we know it's not complete, and just see what happens?
So she tried that.
Oh, we already tried putting it in the green, or the box in the green area.
Yeah. She tried that a second ago.
Yeah, it didn't do anything.
Give me.
How about the gem? Did you try putting the gem?
Oh, I'm sorry, the box. You're saying put the box there.
Yeah, because there's on the main level, there's the blue glowy thing and the green glowy thing. I'm actually just put the arcade wayfinder in the green glowy thing and see what happens.
That's for you guys to decide.
Yeah, that's what I was asking everybody here for, while you were doing whatever you're doing.
Here is the gem.
Pretty shiny.
It is, isn't it? So, what's your plan? Did you guys want to do that?
Yeah, I'm not opposed to that.
Do you think we could have Glory do an Arcana check?
I didn't hear
An
what you said. I'm sorry.
investigation? Can we potentially have Glory run an investigation or an Arcana check?
Yeah, maybe have Glory look into the gem and see if she could figure out how to use it. Like, she could see what magics are involved there.
All right. Let me have her roll an Arcana. Let's see here, Glory. Oh, I should use my own tools. It's easier. Glory. Roll. Not you. You. And Arcana. And roll. And normal. So she rolls a 29. So what Gloria's come up with is she's taken a look at the gem. She's taken a look at the system. She's heard everything. Stephanos and her sort of noodled on sort of the awesomeness that she discovered below. And Glory's take, quite honestly, is that it wouldn't hurt to see if the box fits into that slot, just so that you can put that piece of the puzzle to rest. but she's not convinced that that box will be useful as of right now. So that's what she suggests for step 1. For step 2, she thinks that with this gem, because of the airship, it may not require, at least for now, for simple guidance, anything but putting that gem into that slot.
I say we do that then.
So
What do you
first,
guys say?
all right. So David, you
Do we?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
A bigger question for the group. Do we want to do that just in case there's a chance that we get boarded by another group? They may take the Wayfinder if it's in that slot. I think because it's not doing anything there, or we can put it in there just to see if it does anything, but I doubt anything's going to happen.
Might make it easier for us to fly and control the ship.
Okay, now let's try that. And if it does, great, we'll leave it there for a while. But if it doesn't do anything, I don't think we should have that open because the Black Cult is looking for this. And if they see that sitting anywhere in the open, I don't want to risk losing it.
I could
Right.
also assign illusion spell.
Oh,
Make it
yeah.
look like something else.
That's true. So David, you walk
so,
over to
Thomas.
Yeah, I was fast forwarding you.
Go ahead.
I'm saying. So I think you walk over, you pull out the box, and you sort of reluctantly, and with like hold it above, and as you sort of hold it over the top, you almost feel like a magnet, like it pops into place, right? And like it's a perfect fit for that box. Nothing else changes. You think for just a split second, the light on the steering wheel sort of flips off and then back on. But nothing, nothing is sort of like is sort of waiting, waiting for something.
Steering isn't any better.
so
No,
We
it doesn't seem ready. So like you pull the box back out, and then Glory suggests you put the gem in. That was the other thing, right?
Right.
So you guys pop the gem in, and this time you see this thing go off and on a couple of times. And then it stays on nice and bright. And the steering wheel just sort of starts to course correct. So on that map of Farron where you were heading directly west, you're starting to now veer. You feel like you're veering a little bit more southwest. You don't know for sure, but your guess is that you're heading to wherever the airship was heading before.
all right. I think with that we take a long rest now.
Agreed.
Yeah, and then we'll end. We'll end here.
Yeah.
So why don't we do well let's finish the long rest and then sort of go from there. It is getting later. Time is passing. You're seeing it's getting dark outside. You do really love the way that the landscape and the gems light up the area. You can see. Oh, I forgot to change the landscape below my guys. I'm sorry. Wait for the Badlands. There you are. Your Badlands, right? In fact, there's not really any clouds. There's not a lot of moisture here, so it's just sort of barren, right? So here you are, sort of cruising through the Badlands. It's getting late. It's probably around 11 o'clock at night. The moon is out. You're getting some ambient light from the moon, but other than that, it's getting dark outside.
While we're doing a long rest, can I tune to something?
You can.
Okay.
Yeah, likewise.
Me as well.
And is it only one thing at each long rest or multiple things?
One thing for each long rest.
Hey.
So are you guys going to head into, who's staying above? Like, is everyone long resting? You guys just all going to go to sleep and hope for the best? Anyone stay awake?
I need to attune to one thing, but being an elf, I don't need to actually sleep, and I have no spell slots that I need recharged. So how much time does it take me to attune to an item and then wake up and stay guard?
You would need, I think you need a solid 8 hours, but you guys can do that in shifts if you want.
I could take the first shift up, because I have full health, and since I'm pretty hard to hit, I could just watch.
So who's all sleeping?
Mine is the least important. Like it's good to attune to it, but I don't think it's going to help us right away. So I would rather you get your spell slots.
Well, Tempe's also Tempe's an elf and doesn't need to attune to anything that I can see. So he could also he could also
Tempe,
take it.
Yeah, maybe Tempe does the first watch, because also being a drow, my full rest is equal to 4 hours of meditation. So I only need to meditate for 4 hours for a full rest. But I do want to attune to something. So.
Okay, so Toph is also going to join Tempe on above ground's deck. So that means Alexandria, Stephanos, Tyros, Glory, and Dinjarin are all doing a long rest, correct?
Yep.
All right, so let me go up to the, hold on, this is 2 different pieces, so let me go up to the main level and pull you guys off of it. Tyros is gone, Dinjarin's gone, Glory's gone, Toph stays. Spanky's going to hang. He's going to sleep up on the top deck. Tempe's gone. Oh no, Tempe's staying. And Salem as well. And then we take, and I need to put Tempe back. There we go. And I'm going to pull you guys to the cabins. The only bad news here, it's not really bad news, is the fact that there's 5 of you in 4 beds. So someone's going to have to sleep on the floor, or
I'll just because I can do meditation. I was just going to go on this crate and meditate.
Yeah, Alexandria, you're pretty happy with whatevs, right?
I'm a bird. I can go wherever. It's all you, Dinjarin.
You have a nesting blanket now.
That's true.
That's true.
So you guys are in beds as needed.
Smells a little weird though.
Yeah. And you see Alexandria sort of like right in front of this little cabinet, pull out her little blanket and just sort of like, you see her spinning it into like a little nest shape. And then all of you guys do your long rest. So hold on. I can't click my long rest button. Hold on. Why can't I not click my long rest button? It's not loading. Give me one more second. Here, is there also located here? Crap, I'm gonna have to disable something real quick. Give me 1 second. Taskbar. And hopefully this doesn't refresh all of you guys. I have to refresh. My tools didn't load properly. So it didn't refresh you guys, right?
Nope.
So as long as this works, we're in good shape. There's a little button that says long rest I have to press, and it's behind something that I can't get to. There it is. Rest. Wait. Where'd it go? Well, I'm still loading. There we go. Nope, that did not work. Okay. Attempt number 2. Manage modules. Taskbar. Disable. I'll have to figure this out later. And
while you're moving this around, are we allowed to go into our inventory and attune to the items?
You will be able to attune as soon as I hit long rest.
I see.
You guys might get a refresh now anyway, because I had to.
Yeah.
Refresh happening.
Yeah, this is just learning curves. I have a really awesome toolbar. Then if it works out, I'm going to give it to you guys. That allows you to almost like in a Mac and Windows have a bar at the bottom that gives you quick access to things. There just seems to be one piece where it didn't load it didn't load the one thing I needed access to, the long rest button. There it is. Now I'm going to hit rest. And there's a giant fly attacking me in real life, IRL. All right, long rest. Prompt for players. It's going to be a long rest. And I need to add all y'all. And long rest. You should have it. All right, so you guys have all long rested. It's now 6:42 in the morning. You're, I need to make sure that nothing's happened. Hold on one second. Sky encounters. You got lucky, so nothing happened throughout the night, as you can see in the chat window. You never know. Maybe giant eagles might have attacked you. Who could say? So you guys are all refreshed. So what did you need to attune to, Stefanos? And if you don't want to share with everyone, just whisper in the chat. For all of you, whoever needed to attune, let me know what you wanted to attune to, because I have to do it.
Yeah, I want to attune to my blood vial.
All right. You are now attuned to the item. And are you equipping it?
Yes.
All right. There you go. It's now equipped and attuned. And you can share with everyone what it does when you want to. You don't have to do it now.
Okay.
Next up, who else was attuning?
Me.
All right.
I have a gem of seeing.
A gem of seeing. Ooh. Gem of seeing. There it is. Gem of seeing. Attuning to the item. So for the gem of seeing, you can explain to them what you want if you want. This thing recharges 1d3 every day. So you don't always get them all back. You'll get one to 3 charges every day. Kind of fun. I didn't even know you had that.
I didn't even, somehow got picked up along the way. What it does is it lets me see 120 feet when I peer through the gem. So in darkness or anywhere. So I can scope out long distances.
I've always had that.
And Dinjarin.
I'm a drow.
Dinjarin, you're attuning to Baphomet's Helmet of Fear, right?
No, I'm just gonna let you know because it was one of the items that we didn't figure out how to obfuscate from you seeing it. It's the yellow diamond, which is an elemental gem.
Yellow
so
diamond.
It doesn't say I need to be attunement, but when I had it in Fantasy Grounds, I shouldn't know what they are until I study them. So
so you've now studied it for the night, and you've realized that this is an elemental gem. When you use an action to break the gem, an earth elemental is summoned as if you cast it. A summon element. Basically, it's a one-use summon an elemental.
I could summon a dirt, guys. I could summon a big giant mound of dirt that'll fight for us.
And you guys see Dinjarin run downstairs with the gem, break it over the hatch, summon the elemental, and then let it crash to its death.
Watch this. Go to your home. Be free.
I want to make sure that Glory didn't need to attune to anything. Oh, she could attune to something.
I guess while you're looking that up, I can share what my attunement was. The blood vial, I put a few drops of my blood into it, and that vial stays closed. If it ever, and when I'm holding it, because I'm equipped with it, my focus increases, and I get a +1 bonus to spell attack rolls and saving throw of my sorcerer spells. And in addition, if I roll any hit dice to recover hit points, I gain 5 sorcery spells.
So
cool.
I want some advice from you guys for Glory. She has a lot of stuff she can attune to. She can, and I think she would share this. She can attune to a Staff of Healing. It has 10 charges, and you can expel 1 or more of these charges. And you can do a Cure Wounds, right? one charge per spell level up to 4th. Lesser Restoration, which takes 2 charges, which is like restores Lesser Restoration, just like her Lesser Restoration spell. Or you could also do a Mass Cure Wounds, so she could use 5 charges a day and basically do a party heal. That's one option. So that's the happy path. And then she could also give this to, without attuning, she could potentially give this to Stephanos if Stephanos is the healer.
Right.
She also has a.
these.
Oh, you have one of those too?
Yep.
Yeah, and then she also has a Larva Mage Staff. It can expend 1 charge to cast a spell to dominate a monster, or you can expel 3 to cast Circle of Death. Which I'm pretty sure this is the one she would attune to.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think you have to go any further.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the one she would.
Yeah.
The last one is she can attune to an omelet of proof against detection and location, which means that she's hidden from divination. So you think the larva?
The second one.
Yep.
I thought so too, but I thought I would ask so it wasn't just me making this decision. So she's going to attune to that.
Good call.
And she's going to equip it. She'll have to decide whether she's using the sword. But she needs to attune. She needs to unattune to something.
Then I don't know if.
That's why she had attuned to it.
I don't think she would do that. I don't know if she would unattune to anything right now.
Yeah, I'll break attunement. There we go. We'll give her right of refusal. She could have done that. How many things is she attuned to? 1.
How many are you allowed
2,
to?
3,
You're
4.
limited?
You can do 4.
I see.
I think. Oh wait, she could attune because you can do 4, right? Hold on. Attune to.
How do you know how many you could? Is it different for each, class?
No, I think it's a D&D thing, right? So yeah, so this is it. So she can only attune to 4 things. She's attuned to 4 things. Because the message I got was you can't attune to more than 4 items, and she has 4 things attuned. So she's good to go. All right. I'm going to verify up on the top deck, because you have several days ahead of you, that Dinjarin doesn't have any. Not Dinjarin. That Tempe doesn't have anything that he wants to attune to, and he has nothing that he can attune to. And then that Toph doesn't have anything. Nope, she's already attuned to her thing. And that's it. So yeah, so this finds you guys are down in the in the bowels of the ship, sort of doing your thing. You're attuned to your items. It's a new day. You have at least 2 more days of travel if you are heading to Daggerford, and that's sort of your best guess right now. Shall we end here?
Dinjarin wants to do one last thing.
Oh.
Sure.
He's gonna go up to the top deck, go over to where the mast is, and just do this out off the.
All right, let me pull you up there.
Titanic style.
Yeah. I've never been in an airship like this. This is cool.
Are the rest of you coming back upstairs or no?
Yeah, I'll pop back upstairs.
All right.
Yes,
So
if we're done with our long rest.
All right, so Dinjarin is here. Stephanos.
And Dinjarin just starts whistling a little tune.
Glory. All right, so you're all up on deck. You guys see Dinjarin up front, literally on a bunch of machinery and a whirling propeller. And what are you saying?
Look at me, guys! Look at me!
All right.
I'm still in the room, by the way.
Oh, wait, you haven't gotten up here yet?
No, I'm still looking at the room.
No, I think all of us are still in the room.
All right, you're back.
There we go.
There we go. 6:42 a.m.
Yep, it's dawn, and you guys see Dinjarin up front on this thing, and he's screaming, "What?
Look at me!" I have my arms like this. It's like, look at me.
And start your acrobatics check.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't fumble. So yeah, so it's a 13. It's a solid. So you see him sort of fumbling, and Toph, Toph looks at you, and this is her first sort of foray into this party, whatever. And you sort of hear mumble under her breath, like, God, what a moron. Right? Who tumbling 6,000 to 7,000 feet to the Badlands below probably wouldn't be the best way to start your day. But and no one gets your joke because they haven't seen that movie.
It hasn't even been made yet.
See,
Although
but
it may
luckily,
become the inspiration for.
see, but luckily, I do have a ring of feather falling, so even if I fell, I would have been okay.
Oh, there you go. So I guess there's not much risk.
Yeah.
So your guys are all up on this this tiny but mighty little ship, and for all intents and purposes, unless someone takes it from you, you guys now own an air tank. And the last question of the game would be, what would you like to name your air tank?
Ooh.
Can we get back to you on that?
Yep.
Yeah, I think everyone should be here for us to figure out a name.
We'll do it async outside of the game so that it can be ready.
Yeah.
Right. Because basically what I'm going to need to do is sort of build a couple of the screens that whenever you're traveling from point A to point B, then we just load those reusable screens, right, for travel. And you'll have access to all 3 of those, and you can be on whatever deck you want to be on at any given.
Ooh, the mystery machine.
Well, you guys can all vote on that later on. But on that note, I think we're done. What do you think?
Yep.
This was a fun session. Yeah.
So it was interesting. So ironically, it wasn't real narrative driven, right? There was some story stuff. It also wasn't combat driven. This is one of those where you guys just sort of did things and investigated. You kind of Scoobied this episode. Speaking of the mystery machine. So awesome.
Oh.
Well, if there are no questions or comments, I'm going to go back to my other job of doing decks.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks
you,
all.
everyone.
Good times.
Thanks, Thomas.
Later.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.